So today we're breaking down Tyler Perry's Joe's College Road Trip. And when I say we're going to break down, it's probably going to be me breaking down because I had to talk about this movie again after sitting through it. Netflix is out here giving blank checks and they need to go ahead and hand one this way and maybe they can throw my podcast on their network. But no one actually bothered to check the script on this one. I'm not sure why, but they did not check the script. I've seen a lot of Tyler Perry projects, as I'm sure everybody who's watching this right now has as well. And I took a break for a little bit, but now that I'm back doing this show, I'm watching Tyler Perry projects again, and not much has changed. There's still 2005 rejected scripts, and they're all being held together by Scotch tape and a hard R rating, especially in this one. And honestly, all of this is just for the sake of being edgy. The tropes are still lazy, the pacing felt like a flat tire, and the tonal shift just kind of gave me a little whiplash. Usually I could find a silver lining in a film, that you could find something good or beautiful in everything, but not in this one. But let's go ahead and get into why this is a massive step backwards for the Madea universe. Going into this, I actually wanted to like it. It was something that I guess people have been asking for a while. And it was kind of a fresh take because now it's Joe in front and center and the main star of the film. So I truly wanted to like it. And the idea of Joe, unfiltered, geriatric, maybe even a little bit rude, was a good idea when you look at it for face value. The old grandfather who's taking his grandson up under his wing and going to take him on a road trip, even though he's probably a little bit too old to be driving, but he's going to take him on a road trip to go see his college. And honestly, I think it's a little bit too late to be going on a college road trip to go do college visits because they had the grad sign in the yard. So to me, this indicates that he probably just graduated high school. I would assume he would probably have a school picked out by now, especially how smart he is. So I'm not sure why now they're just doing college visits, but that's just semantics. But the execution of everything in this movie was pretty lazy. The film tries to be a raunchy comedy in one moment, and then it tries to be a historical drama in the next. And it honestly kind of fails at both. Brian lying to his son just to get him in a car with his dad so they could go on this road trip because he's just a little bit too busy to go do it himself. And you would think at the most important time in your kid's life that you would probably want to go on this road trip with them and not send them with the grandparent. But that's neither here nor there. But the whole line to get him in the car, we've seen this whole thing 1,000 times. It hasn't gotten any better. The idea isn't any fresher. And to me, Joe isn't the funny ha-ha meme. Like, oh, my granddad is funny because he just says crazy stuff at times. No, he's the exhausting kind of meme. Like, I'm tired of hearing you talk kind of meme. Like, after literal 20 minutes or so of listening to him just yell and bitch and complain and rah, 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 I was ready to pull over the car and walk back home. But before we talk about that Money, Mississippi scene that almost derailed the entire movie, or maybe it did derail the entire movie. If you appreciate these reviews where we don't pull any punches when the titans of the industry tend to miss a mark, please hit that subscribe button and keep coming back for more. So we're not going to waste too much time with this because there's not much of a story or a script to this because the script honestly is pretty basic. The dialogue is something that me and you could come up with right now, and we're probably doing a lot of the dialogue just talking because it's just that simple. There isn't much of a story, and the story at its basic is a grandfather is going to take his grandson on a college road trip to go visit a college, and he's going to take some little detours along the way to go take his grandson to see some historical landmarks, and they're going to get into some shenanigans, and then at the end of the day, the grandson is going to have some realization that, oh, you know what? This isn't so bad. My grandfather may be right about things. Maybe I am a little out of touch. Blah, 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 with the help of others. And that's basically it. Because we never actually make it to the college campus in this movie. And we'll kind of get into why we don't make it to the college campus in this movie because of a lot of the shenanigans that go on. But I guess it is hinted at that he's going to go to college or whatever the case may be. But the movie leans into the whole Gen Z generation being soft. Another tired joke that's felt like it's been gone for about 3 years now. BJ is the nerdy kid who has white friends and he's going to go to a white college and he doesn't know anything about black history or black culture. And now, since his father didn't teach him anything, now his abusive grandfather is going to teach him everything about Black culture and being a Black guy on his way to college or on the way to visit a college. Not sure which one it is. You know, all the tough love that they have in this movie is not even really tough love. It's honestly just kind of grumpy writing. And the entire warning at the beginning of the movie, the one where, oh, Joe says the N word this many times and this, that many times, it's honestly just an admission that the character just has not evolved in decades. And that honestly kind of reminds you of the person writing that hasn't evolved in decades. And this is just my opinion, so don't kill me. But once they hit the road, the movie just devolves into a series of BJ being out of place moments. And at one point, they end up in a biker bar, and that's a whole fake Matrix. Still, people doing the Matrix came out like 20 years ago, but yet we're still doing the whole Neo float in the air during a fight scene thing. Like, it just kind of shows you how outdated the writing is. So that's just one example that I could give you of some of the tropes in the movie being somewhat outdated or very outdated, depending on how you want to look at it. And then from there, we end up at a massage parlor, or it's not a massage parlor, it's a brothel. And you're going to take your grandson to a brothel, and I'm not even sure why this scene was needed. It was, like I said, this was just another attempt for this movie to be a raunchy com. This is not American Pie. It's not even close to being American Pie, and which was an actual good raunchy comedy. But this does not even touch the tip of the iceberg for that. There's no wit here. It's just another scene where Joe is just saying a bunch of things that he probably shouldn't be saying that honestly would get anybody else in the world canceled. But because it's Tyler Perry or Joe, we can say these things with no remorse or no repercussion, and it's all going to be okay. Just another example of just lazy, outdated writing. And then you have the introduction of the character Destiny, I guess a little bit too late in the film, and you were going to introduce another character. But this character was put here to, I guess, add this layer of balance or maybe be a voice of reason for the film. But it honestly just turns out to be just another character for Joe to turn his anger towards and yell at her and bitch at her. And it's the same thing throughout the entire movie. The same thing he did to his grandson, he does to her and everybody else. And for me, this is where the movie kind of just loses it, because we go from one moment making jokes about working girls to then we have a somber moment in Money, Mississippi. And listen, the history of Emmett Till is very, very vital. And to shoehorn it into a movie 5 minutes earlier when Joe was making bathroom jokes is just a little bit disrespectful to me. It honestly kind of felt like Tyler Perry realized that this movie had no soul, so he tried to inject some, and it didn't feel earned. It actually kind of felt like emotional manipulation. And the finale of this movie, and we finally get to it, it's just a mess of fake gangsters and CGI heavy action, and it's all just pretty crappy, honestly. We have Joe shooting backwards over the car, shooting at these gangsters. It was a mess. The ending was probably the worst part of the movie, quite honestly. Obviously, Brian shows up finally to save the day, but then his son realizes that, oh, now I'm tough because I've been on all of these adventures with my grandfather, and now I'm this tough guy, so I can handle myself. So we're going to go continue our road trip and go do our thing. It's amazing how BJ just surviving one weekend of Joe's verbal abuse just turned him into a tough guy. It's a hollow ending to a hollow movie. There was absolutely no character growth for any of the characters, and it's just the same old thing yet again with just a little bit more scars to the characters. And a few things that are really going to cement the rating that I'm going to tell you guys in a minute. Let's talk about every time Tyler Perry plays multiple characters and how bad the framing and the CGI is. And you would think over time, especially now that technology has gotten better and better and better, why is his stuff getting cheaper, in my opinion? And we're in the year 2026 now, and we're still dying on this hill of kids play games, so that doesn't make them a man type of jokes. Like, come on, like, you got to update your comedy, sir. And then the runtime for this entire movie, an hour and 50 minutes. An hour and a half would have been too much. But this honestly could have been a 20-minute sketch on YouTube, and maybe it would have hit the mark there, because maybe then it could have been a little bit more to the point, and maybe it would have meant something. But for me, this is a 1 out of 5 star review. I wish I could give it less, but I can't. This isn't just a bad Tyler Perry movie. In my opinion, this is just a bad movie. It's repetitive, it's tonally confused, and honestly, it's a bit insulting to anybody who decides to watch its emotional intelligence. If this movie had hit theaters, I would immediately call this a cash grab. But yet it hit streaming, so I'm not sure what to call it, but it's just a bad watch. And I watched it for all of you guys. So don't go waste your time and go try to be like, oh, let me see if he's really that bad. Oh, it can't be that bad. Don't do it. Don't do it. I already watched it for you. I told you about it here. I hit all the important points in the movie. Trust me, I did not miss one. And just don't do it. Joe's College Road Trip is just a stark reminder that just because you can make a movie doesn't mean you should. I remember some years ago when Tyler Perry said that he was going to retire the Madea character. And I think that's when people may have started asking for Joe. And now that we've got Joe, I'm not sure why we got Joe. We don't really need Madea anymore either. Maybe he should just retire these characters. His best movies are the ones that he's not in, if you have not noticed that. Go look at Tyler Perry's library and judge the movies from the one that he's in versus the ones that he's not in. And I promise you, will see the one movies that he is not in or plays maybe a small supporting role, they're better. I'm not going to say they're all good, but they're better than the ones that he's in. But I think that is going to be it talking about this movie because I don't want to lose any more brain cells, and I don't want you guys to lose any brain cells either trying to make any sense of this madness because I had to try just so I could deliver it to you. But thank you for coming, and I appreciate you for listening to this. And this may be a review or a rant. I'm not sure which one it was, but thank you for coming and watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Thank you.